think Sunset's technology program has kind of defined what I've been doing through high school. I started off in 8th grade looking through the entire course load and seeing Java programming and IB computer science. I immediately knew that it was something I wanted to go into because I had experience with computers earlier. But when I entered Java in my sophomore year, I saw it as something extremely hard, and the first few days were definitely challenging. But then once I got past the initial problems, I realized I could learn how to automate so many different things. If it just starts on computers, why not move it to my phone? Why not move it to my laptop? Why not move it to somewhere else? So I think it's really pushed me to follow the computer science track at Sunset and help me. It's also helped me throughout a lot of my classes because within computer science, it requires a lot of logical thinking, and this thinking isn't just restricted to computer science, but I feel it extends also towards math, and more importantly, reasoning, because we see that when following a logical sequence of events to complete a project, you need specific reasoning skills that translate to solving math problems, and even in speech and debate, having critical thinking skills with this reasoning allows you to win. And so I think computer science at Sunset has kind of expanded my horizons and allowed me to use my skills across a different array of subjects. And so computer science kind of defined what my future is going to be. So after graduating, I'm going to go to college for a computer engineering and computer science degree, and I hopefully want to enter the workforce after that at some tech firm as a software engineer. So after taking Java and C++ especially, I realized how not only useful computer science can be, but also how fun it can be. Because in my spare time recently, I've been developing a program that prints music, and I've been working with music majors at my school in order to create a system that prints real music, and I would only be able to do this if I took the C++ and Java classes at Sunset. So it's really defined what I think my future plans are going to be. Since technology is becoming more and more ingrained into our lives, I have a phone with me. I see people have smartwatches, even other devices are going to be more and more ingrained in our lives. We see computer science as one of these fundamental aspects in creating this technology and controlling the technology, because if we don't have this sort of education, we're not going to be aware of what allows most of the world to function. As we've learned, a lot of stock trading in business happens through complex algorithms and highly complex computer systems. And I think computer science is kind of the crux behind all of this. And if we want to ensure that the future is better than what we have right now, we have to have more and more we have to have a stronger base of computer science. And I think that can only be achieved if we have it at the most fundamental high school and middle school levels. I think especially with all the computer science classes I've taken at Sunset, they're all project-based, and this is completely different from the other classes, because classes like math, history, English, they all follow a set curriculum where there's certain rubrics and we're taught a lot of information and then we're quizzed on how we do. But computer science is more of a trial and error process where we start off assigned one project and we go through it, we make mistakes, but more importantly, we learn from them to finish the project, and these all kind of culminate in something far bigger. So I see this as a computer science classes, they're more hands-on than the traditional academia, and I find this is a lot more effective in teaching concepts because we're able to actually deal with the problems firsthand instead of reading from a textbook what happened, and we can see clearly cause and effect rather than just reading about it. So one thing I'm really proud of was my final project for Java, where it was to create a reversey game. And I think what's most impressive is, at first, I just thought Java was a bunch of code coming out on an output log, but then I realized that you can actually play around with graphics and make something that looks aesthetically pleasing and it also functions properly. So I think this was one of my highlights of my sophomore year in finally finishing the project, seeing that it works perfectly, and being able to play it with my friends. So I think one of them that's especially important is critical thinking and reasoning, and that once I see a problem, I don't just immediately flip to the back of the book for the answer. Instead, I have to peruse forums, and I have to go through the API. I have to ask my friends, how to fix the problem. And eventually it's this really large trial and error process in which I find out why a problem exists and how to fix it rather than what the solution is. And I think that's really important because it's helped me in all my other classes. In math, I don't go to the back of the book anymore. Instead, I have a lot of other outlets that I can use that are far more effective in learning.